Hello. Gotham Corner Store? Yes, we seem to be down to our last Diet Coke. A gentleman is on his way to pick some up. Just look for a black car. No, this black car will be rather difficult to miss. And by the way, the gentleman is usually in quite a rush.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke. And just like the movies will play out our last scene, you won't cry, I won't scream.
Okay, where'd my ticket go?
Oh, yes.
Oh, found mine.
What? My pockets are kind of tight. Which pocket was it in? You know, I didn't throw it away this time, so unless it fell out. You son of a bitch. Oh, I found it.
Yay!
It's a little sweaty.
That's okay. Cilantro. And it smelled good. Alright.
You're a hero to me.
She might got me confused.
Your mission is to infiltrate and destroy Project Starfish. Successfully complete the mission, you get 10 years off your sentence.
No problem.
Oh, I call it Stato the Conqueror.
I love your accent.
Thank you for the birthday gift, Megan.
You're welcome, dear.
Seriously, how did you know the entire Phantasm collection?
Oh, I had an inkling.
The movie was good, too.
Yes, it was very entertaining.
It was interesting. I think you liked it more than I did, but I'll stand by what I said. I'll take it over Piranha 3D any day.
And I take it over Jungle Cruise. At least it was entertaining.
Yeah. Now this is interesting. This is interesting because I've seen the other Suicide Squad by David Ayer, and that was much more different than this one. Well, it did have like a similar plot beat and plot thread. There were some similar things. Yeah, Harley Quinn was in there by Margot Robbie, but quintessentially, it is a much different movie. It definitely earns the R rating. I don't even think the first one was R rated. It might have been like PG-13 or something.
Yeah, I honestly don't know because I never saw the original.
It's probably unfair to say because it's not like a remake or... It's a soft reboot.
Yeah, like, is it even canon with the original or no?
Yes.
So it is canon?
It is canon because
Okay.
there are characters from the first one that are there. Alfie Woodard's character is there because she's the one that controls, like, the whole villain idea she has, which is we're going to send all these supervillains out and do all the dirty work so we can just sit back and relax. And if they...
Yeah.
Have you seen Escape from New York?
No.
It's sort of along the lines of that, in a sense, though Escape from New York is technically better. And that's because, well, there's a lot of reasons behind that one, but I think you'd like it because Kurt Russell plays the main character, Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
You might not know the character, but you've seen parodies of him in Billy and Mandy. He's the guy with the eye patch and the chainsaw. It's like that, but minus the chainsaw stuff.
Yeah.
So I've not seen any trailers of the Suicide Squad. I decided I want to be surprised, I want to go in, not knowing a single thing, and after seeing it, it's like, maybe I should have seen a trailer or two before seeing this, because this was nuts.
Yeah, like, we'll talk about the positive stuff first.
Yeah, might as well get the...
It was a good popcorn movie. Well...
unless you want a barf bag to go with your popcorn.
Yeah, if you're someone who doesn't mind blood and guts. Again, not a movie to bring children to. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Seriously, there's some insane stuff that happens in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting back thinking to myself, if I rented this, I probably would feel the same way about this movie, but if any case, given that this was directed by James Gunn, he likes to do really extreme things. He likes to really go all out with the violence and stuff. He did Slither. He did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and he's finishing up with the third one. I'm curious to see how that's going to go, given what's happened. But at the same time, he has made some very extreme movies that people seem to forget, like Super.
Yeah.
And I've yet to see Super, but that's one that's up there on the list. The closest I've seen in terms of how wacky, ballsy he can go with some of his films is Slither. And that's at least kind of the direction I was hoping he'd go with in terms of the violence. This is not Slither. This is Slither if they actually showed the insides of a corpse. That is how insane this film is.
Like,
and that will make or break the enjoyment.
Yeah, like, I liked the characters. The plot, it was...
Was there a plot?
There was a plot, but it was kind of, I don't know, it was a little... Not
out
like,
there.
yeah, it wasn't like super predictable like with Jungle Cruise, but there were some stuff that you kind of saw coming.
It's been out for a few weeks, so maybe we can probably talk about some of the stuff, but not go into too much detail.
And, like...
Because I still don't know who the villain was of this movie.
Yeah.
It's really everywhere. There's so much betrayal.
Everyone's the villain.
Yeah, there's so much betrayal that happens. To the point I'm like, who am I supposed to be going up against? Who am I not rooting for? Is it a case where it's like, well, because we took this giant alien from outer space and we were doing all these experiments and stuff, technically we the humans are the villain, but we caused the alien to turn on ourselves, so I guess we are the bad guy?
Yeah, because
it's really the alien? Again, this has, when you really do boil this down and look at the skeleton, it's almost the same as the first Suicide Squad. They get a supernatural creation, and they either experiment it or try to bring it to their side. Supernatural creation turns against them, so they're calling this team to have supernatural creation brought down. Only here, it's more complex, like it's the plotline to a Rambo movie.
Yeah.
And essentially, in that general context, it's technically the first film all over again. They just rearranged and did some stuff different. Now, in the case of the Reheated Leftovers sequel principle, it doesn't fall into the same traps that others have, like Hangover Part 2 or Home Alone 2. Though Home Alone 2 is actually kind of entertaining just for the bricks and to see Marv get electrocuted. But in the general case, it doesn't feel like a retread, because at least there are different elements they are doing and playing things up. And they have a different bad guy, which is Starro, this giant alien starfish, which I was curious to see how that was going to play out when I saw rumors of it, but to see how they went along with it, it's like, oh, they're doing the Ghostbusters route, where they're building up to this anomaly instead of just going all out with it. Alright, fine, your movie's a giant starfish, I'm not going to complain. But at the same time, it's so violent and grisly to the point that I kind of wonder how everyone else is going to feel about this movie if they see it.
Yeah, like...
Because I don't mind violence, as long as it's in some stylized thing, but we're talking about a scene where one character is piercing another one in the heart, and they cut to an inside CGI close-up of the heart being penetrated. It's like, do they really have to go that far?
It's like, yeah, we get it. He got stabbed in the chest. We just need to drive the point home. Here's his heart!
Like, if they did more stylized, like, say if he's in front of an x-ray machine, and they show, like, the skeleton of the person, the shrapnel going in, that's the idea of being stylized and interesting. Like, in a very comic book visual kind of way, but when it's really that gory and stuff, it's like, come on, you're really... Oh,
yeah, and then there was the eyeball scene.
Oh, yeah, let's... We're not gonna spoil it, because at least that was... We'll just say it's the eyeball scene.
Yeah, we'll just call it the eyeball scene. When you guys watch it, you'll know what we're talking about.
Like, there are points where it does get artistic, but too artistic. Like, when Harley Quinn is going up against the cartel and that... when she's breaking out.
And there were some transitions and jumps in the film that just really took you out of the moment and just seemed over... Like, it just was ridiculous after a while.
Thank you, movie. I need to know this happened 8 minutes earlier.
Yeah, like, a lot of that, like, if they did that once or twice, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but it was like, 5 minutes ago, 2 hours ago.
Here's the Suicide Squad against the giant alien.
Yes, we're gonna name the obvious.
Instead of Operation something something, it's Operation Harley, and we're gonna go save Harley. It's like, thanks for spelling that out for me.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't need to know that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it... I'm curious to know if that was James Gunn's predict, because he didn't do that for the other films. Maybe it was a studio thing.
No, because I don't... he didn't do that in any of the Guardian films.
No, he did not. It's like in Guardians of the Galaxy, like, we're gonna have Operation Yondu and things like that. It's funny, because I wonder if some of that stuff was a studio thing. Like, we need to have it be stylized just like the first one.
Yeah.
So let's have stuff like that here and there, because there were moments like that, too. Like, when they're introducing a character, they would literally show, like, stats and stuff. Like, here's Captain Boomerang and his stuff. Here's Croc and his stats. It's like, I want to see the character in action. And I'll give it this much. They do introduce the characters right.
Yeah.
Even though it does that thing where it's like, who's this person? Oh, it's so-and-so, and does so-and-so. I can forgive that. Because at least in that sense of scripting and story writing, you're passing information from someone who knows it to someone who doesn't. But at the same time, even though it's a little obvious, I can kind of forgive that motivation. Because they're not just, like, piecing, like, text on the screen and saying, here's this character, and here's what they do, and this and this. And in a sense, it does feel like a sequel in a sense, given how, like, one or two characters are carried over. But at the same time, it is its own thing. It's easily establishing that pretty easily on, especially with the opening scene.
Yeah.
Right from the opening scene right away, you can tell if you're going to enjoy this movie or if you're going to be really turned off by it. Because this has the gall to remove characters that you don't even know about, even if it's just like a quick 1-minute introduction.
Yeah.
Thank God we didn't get that weasel. That weasel been in the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
Ugh. This big-eyed thing. Who's your favorite character?
I had several. Obviously, Harley Quinn. I liked the shark. He was adorable.
Oh, King Shark. That's Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that was...
That was
okay.
Sylvester Stallone.
Okay, that makes sense.
He's the Groot of the bunch.
The main character, which I can't think of what his name was.
Oh, Idris Elba's character.
Yeah, I liked him. I liked the girl who could control the rats.
Ratcatcher.
Yeah, Ratcatcher.
I love Ratcatcher.
John Cena's character was a bit over
Peacemaker.
Yeah, he was a bit over the top. Like, good job acting on his end. I had nothing wrong with his acting. I just felt like his character was just over the top.
Yeah, that was Bloodsport.
Okay, Bloodsport.
I guess because they couldn't get Will Smith back, and that's one thing that I do feel that's kind of missed. Because with Will Smith in the previous one, there was a cool factor to it. Like, say what you will about, Will Smith, whether you love him or hate him. It really did feel like it was a Will Smith movie the first time around. He was sort of the anchor of the whole thing. He had this bit going on with his daughter and doing it for that. They do the same thing here, but it's a whole lot more harsher.
Yeah. Now, is he supposed to be playing the same character?
No.
So it's a different character.
First movie, it was Deathstroke.
Oh, okay.
Deathstroke was kind of like the jokey assassin.
Okay.
Not like Deadpool, but more like, one-liner kind of person. Bloodsport, I guess they were going with the same thing, where it was like he's trying to do this for his daughter and all that sort of stuff, but it feels way more darker.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, the first scene they meet together and they're doing that phone conversation in the prison, and it's so clear that they have, like, a love-hate thing going on, but there's not much love. And that's what almost ruined it for me a bit.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the other characters, this would not have gotten much of a pass. Because there's other people to balance off the comedy and the drama, I feel like because of those other characters, that's what made the movie a little more stomachable. Because at least they had defined backstories and personalities. I cared for Ratcatcher because of her story and the fact that her father had this ability and power and passed it to her, and how he was like a drug addict junkie.
Yeah.
There's a scene where she's describing it, and we see like the flashbacks in this window right next to her.
Yeah, that was a really cool effect.
I was like, okay, I can see why they used that character, because she's the opposite of Diablo, because Diablo in the first one was this guy that could control fire and stuff. He had the powers of like a fire demon and things like that. And he had a tragic backstory too, because he caused the death of his family in an accidental way. Very harsh for PG-13 film. Here, it's much more different, it's much more understandable, we do feel bad for her, and she's in this whole other family and stuff. King Shark, we don't even get his backstory, do we?
No. But he's just adorable.
He's the quirky one. Nom nom, no, we're friends, don't nom nom us. Yeah, it's some funny stuff, I will admit. The stuff with Harley Quinn was fun.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie, and they are carrying over some of her stuff in the other movies.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice, and that's what I like about what they're doing with DC, is that they are carrying over plot threads from different movies, but it's not like Marvel, where it's a piece of the puzzle you got to look and watch. Here it's like, no, you can just watch this and be fine. Like, you can get a sense of who these characters are and what they do. And they are carrying over things from, like, the Birds of Prey movie, where she broke up with the Joker and things like that, and they do essentially carry that over here. But they do it in a sense where you feel like the movie is still a standalone film.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. That's what I do like about it. If you have no proper knowledge of what happened in the previous one, that's okay. You don't need to see that in order to understand this and this.
Yeah.
Peter Capaldi as the weird scientist pincushion guy, he was interesting, but I don't think he added much. Polka-Dot guy, I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
And what he was going through.
Yeah, and then when you hear his backstory, it's like...
My mother was doing some quantum physics dimensional stuff and I got affected by it. And now every time I look at people, I see my mother. I want a cut of that movie where it's just all his mother.
Yeah, they just need to do a re-edit of the movie, just have her playing everyone.
I would pay a handsome $5 million if I did just to see a recut of that
yeah.
movie where it's all his mother and just him. Then it would be kind of creepy when you think about it. And the stuff at Randall Flagg, he's carried over from the first movie, and the build up to his like reveal and everything. I was like, yeah, I can kind of see where that's going, where they're trying to break him out and stuff. And they do the same thing with Harley Quinn, but at least that's played a little differently.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you're gonna break me out. That's great.
You can go and redo it if you want.
And that's why that joke worked. Because at least they had good intentions to break her out.
Yeah.
Or else, earlier, they're going into this camp, they have no knowledge of whether these are good people or bad people. When they find out what side they're on, it's like, wah, wah, wah.
I mean, that wasn't their fault. They were told, oh, kill anyone you see.
Yeah.
So...
What am I doing? I'm just relaxing all these people. We're going to take down the government. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
It's like you can see the build-up coming, but there are some jokes there to kind of carry it off. Like Bloodsport trying to one-up Peacemaker with the kills in the camp and things like that. So it's like, alright, I can kind of forgive it for that. I feel it almost falls apart in the ending, though. Because when they go up against this giant monster, and the monster's destroying the city, the Starro creature, I really don't know who to be on whose side at this point, because it just was so complex.
Yeah.
It's like, we gotta go to the media and the press of this whole thing, they've been torturing this animal and stuff. And at that point, I'm just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Who is the bad guy here? What are we fighting for? And then the general direction is, oh, we're just doing this just to save these people and everything. It's like, yeah, it's nice that you're taking out an alien creature, but at the same time, is the alien creature really that rogue? I would be kind of interesting to see if they did turn around a little bit to try and get the alien creature to be good in a sense.
Yeah, like if they tried to help it.
In a way, but
Yeah.
then it's already Godzilla size and tortured, so at that point, it's quite clear that is a creature that is not gonna have a turnaround.
Yeah.
I just wish it did something a little different instead of just having this big, giant monster set up for this third act where they go and fight it off.
Yeah.
Do you have any pros and cons, out of curiosity?
Well, like I said, some of the transition stuff was a bit over the top.
Yeah,
with the weird
and
text and stuff.
And there was some weird artsy stuff too in the fight scenes, like when Harley's breaking out.
Yeah,
there's like flowers
and then the
stuff.
scene. There was one scene that I really did not like. It was completely unnecessary. Birds.
Oh, that
Yeah.
bit. Well, it appears that the Presidente is dead. These birds are his. You know, he just put some gasoline on them.
Yeah, it's like, really, dude, did you really have to do that? The birds didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't the birds that killed your brother. It's like...
What a twist that would have been.
Like, I could see maybe him doing that if the birds had something to do with it, but it was literally, I just don't like that he had birds.
I feel like that was there just for the sake of having a harder, edgier movie. And
Yeah,
even
but
then,
it was
there is no point
It
to
was
it.
completely
It's completely unnecessary. There's a difference between raising the stakes.
That was just to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah,
That was literally
that was just
completely unnecessary.
I mean, they don't show it and they do turn away, but you hear sound effects
yeah,
and the flames and
you
stuff.
don't need to see it. You hear the
That was
sound effects. It
pointless.
was
That was just a hair too far.
yeah.
Uh,
And say if they did that with like another animal, like say if it was like with dogs or cats, that probably would have outraged a ton of people.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine that really going over.
Ugh. Yeah.
And that's the one problem I have. It's risky, and I love how it's risky. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I love it when a film does take risks. But I wish it dialed back down just a little bit.
Yeah, there was some stuff that really was not necessary.
Yeah, like the cute little jellyfish aliens, like, that's fine. That is fine, because at least you're playing with your audience and
Yeah,
building
they
up
were
that
cute.
and it felt earned, too. It's like the jellyfish in Finding Nemo in a sense.
Yeah.
Oh, little squishy, that's squishy, that's
Or if
squishy.
you're familiar with the Oddworld games, the Fuzzles.
Mike Francis is very familiar with Oddworld.
Yeah, well, the jellyfish are like the Fuzzles. We're like, oh, they're so cute. Uh-oh. Ah!
But yeah, stuff like that. But when it's like showing really bloody stuff and
Yeah.
really graphic things, that's
Very over the top.
that's where it takes me out a little bit. And I don't mind violent stuff as long as it's stylized or artistic. And yeah, movies can do that too. Like years ago we saw Machete, and there's a scene where he's breaking out of a hospital with the guy's intestines.
Yeah.
That's fine because it's not focusing too much on it. It's a quick edit. It's very fast done. This lingers on the guts for so long.
Yeah, like Watchmen had some pretty brutal scenes, but they didn't really linger too. I mean, maybe some parts of the director's cut did a little bit, but nothing like this. Like
No.
this was just like,
No.
okay, can you cut the shot? Can you cut the shot?
Yep.
Do we really need to see this? Cut the shot?
And some points when they had like a kill too, there was no like one-liner they delivered. That was a big disappointment myself. You have a scene where like the shark's eating. No, he decapitates the head of like the leader of the army, and you think he's gonna say like this big one-liner like delicious, like just something simple. No, it's just like the big gag is him biting the head off, and he's like licking it like an ice cream or something like that in his teeth. It's like, do something. Like really, there's scenes. Harley Quinn breaks out and she like kills a guy with her thighs, and there's no one-liner. It's like if you're gonna do that extreme, at least balance it with some humor.
Yeah, I think me and you were actually doing one-liners in their place in some scenes.
Oh God, yeah.
We were the only ones in the theater, so we could get away with it. It was great.
Thank you, Cinema World.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a shame this movie didn't do so well, but I can kind of see why.
Yeah.
Especially for something this ultra-violent.
I'll be mad, though, if Jungle Cruise did better than this.
Let's not chance it.
Yeah.
Let's not chance it.
We don't need a rehash of that fanfic critic episode of us looking up the reviews for Peekaboo.
So, do you have any final say on this one?
If you don't mind blood and guts, and if you want to watch an entertaining movie, I would recommend you watch it. And if I haven't seen the original Suicide Squad, but if you liked the original Suicide Squad, you'll probably like this, I hope. Not a movie to bring kids to.
No. Lord, no.
It wasn't the best movie in the world, but it was entertaining.
Like, it could have been so much worse.
You're looking it up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh God. It did better, didn't it?
I lost my footing because I'm looking at the wrong weekend. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Remember, my parents are here, don't yell.
So boring. It was boring. Boring. So boring.
I have a theory.
That it's a demon?
PG-13.
Well, that too. For those who got that Buffy reference.
I gotta do some catch up on my geekdom.
Oh, we have time, dear.
I know. Yeah, I think you like this more than I did. I'm giving it a definite pass. Not a pass in the sense of don't see it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go hard on this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's the worst or anything. Like, you can deck out with violence and blood, whatever. At the base of its skeleton, it's trying to be a throwback to those gorier 1980s movies that really are tame by today's standards. And it's clear they're trying to really one-up those kinds of things. So,
Yeah.
if you're all for, like, the Expendables and stuff, it's that, but it's more dipped in blood. There are things you will enjoy about it. There are things you will laugh about it.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's definitely worth checking out, but bring a barf bag.
Yeah.
If it weren't for those gory moments, I would have at least given this a better recommendation. But at its core, it is trying to be a much more harder movie, and I think that's what's going to turn a lot of folks off.
Yeah.
it makes Sweeney Todd look like a Disney movie in comparison when you think about it.
Yeah, it even made Midsummer look pretty tame.
Actually, I would love to see Midsummer again at some point.
Yeah. Again, that was a good movie, just don't bring your kids to watch it.
Yeah. So, trailers?
Trailers.
So, I know there was Halloween Kills.
Yeah, that looked
I wanna
really
see
good.
that.
Yeah, that looked really good.
You've not seen the Halloween franchise?
No, I am familiar with it.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like for that one we're going to have to do movie number 1 and the 2019 movie. I know Gus is going to be really happy when I tell him that because he loves the Halloween franchise.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's one of his core de four kind of films. I'm more of a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of person just for the fantasy alone, but Halloween's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we had that other one by James Wan, whose name escapes me.
Yeah, wasn't there only like a couple of trailers? Oh,
There
yeah,
was 3 of them, wasn't there?
the one with what was that one called? It began with an M.
Margaret Malanot.
Yeah, that
Is that how you pronounce it?
I think Malanot.
Hansel? Malanot. Malanot, I think that's called.
Yeah, that one looks interesting.
Yeah, but the killer imaginary friend and how she's been repressing it and stuff. There's some cool imagery there.
Yeah.
I'll most likely rent it, but...
And what was the third trailer?
Venom.
Oh,
Let
yes,
There Be
Venom.
Carnage.
Yeah, I have yet to see the first one.
It looks promising, but I gotta be honest and say I thought the Hindi dub trailer was funnier. Because they have a new trailer out where there's a moment where they're going up against Carnage, and then Venom's like, oh crap, and he goes back into Eddie, and Eddie's like, okay, fine, if you come out, I'll let you eat all the people. You will? Yes. Cool! And he comes out of them. In the Hindi version, they dubbed it.
Eddie, bye! अबे क्या चाहे तू सबको खा जाना Promise? I promise! I love you!
I know it's a couple of weeks till release, but I hope they change it to that instead of cool or awesome, whatever it is. Because it's so much funnier. Especially the way it's dubbed. Bye, Eddie.
Maybe.
I love you!
Well, maybe. Time will tell.
No, this is the version with the chocolate gag. If you tell her, we will have to eat her. It's like, whatever. I don't know, it looks like it could be fun. I feel like they're taking the reins of why folks like the first film and saying, okay, I guess we're just going to go with the whole so bad it's good physique and go with the bromance that everyone loved. And I'm worried they're going to make a bad movie by accident. Because there are cases where a movie is received in a way that the audience goes, oh, wow. There's something enjoyable. It's not good, but it's so enjoyable. Like a so bad it's good kind of film.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're going to focus on that one element and think, okay, we're going to make this intentionally bad so it's enjoyable. And that's not right.
No, because then
These things have an accident.
Yeah, because that will kind of ruin...
What made the first one special. So I think that's all we got for that one.
Yeah.
So overall, I'd say see it, but if you have a strong gut.
Yeah.
So, arcade?
Arcade.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, thank you for the birthday gift.
You're welcome, dear.
Oh. I don't know what's up next time, but whatever comes our way, I'll be glad to see you there.
And we'll make sure to bring a barf bag just in case. My leg!
I knew those sounds really good. You see, the trick is you gotta sound like you're coughing, but you move your tongue.
Yeah, I know I did in the
So
web
instead
show.
of, it's
I know in the web show, I think I did a puke effect at some point, where you just hear me in the background puking.
What one was that?
Oh, Cloud mows the lawn.
Oh.
I think it was the scene with him eating the I shouldn't have brought it up.
It's okay.
Memories.
Come here.
Memories.
Memories.
That's better.
All alone in the moonlight. Nom nom. You look like Gilbert Godfrey after getting Xanax.
We should go with that one!
Yes. Yes.